Welcome to Subramani. A couple of days back, I had done a post on the rule of 3, 20, 30, 40 rule of buying a house. Buying a house is a more complicated process, and I thought you have to consider many things before you bought a house. For buying a car, I have a simpler solution. You should not buy a car which is more than 10% of your gross total income. If you're earning 50 lakhs, buy a 5 lakh rupee car. If you're earning a crore, maybe you buy a 10 lakh rupee car. But no, you don't buy a 15 lakh rupee car if you're earning 30 lakhs a year. Most people forget that the buying a car you can't afford is the fastest and the quickest way to financial mediocrity, right? So today we are in a generation, at least last 10-15 years, we are in a generation which assumes that you cannot live without a car. So you must buy a car, whether it is to go to office. You say, oh, trains are so crowded, how can we go? A whole generation before you went by train and they didn't crib as much as you are cribbing. I am not for or against buying a car. I love it. I love the fact that I've got Maruti shares for a long time. I have Tata Motors, and hopefully more people will buy Tata Motors shares because I have more shares of Tata Motors than I have for Maruti Suzuki. But anyway, jokes apart, the car that you buy should be 1/10 of your annual salary. So if you're earning 15 lakhs, your car should only be 1.5 lakhs. Should you buy a new car for 1.5 lakhs, or should you go and buy a second-hand car for 1.5 lakhs? It's your choice. I don't think Nano is still around, so the cheapest car in India that you can get should be about 3 lakhs on the road. So if you're not earning 30 lakhs, you will have to buy a second-hand car if you stick to these rules. I find younger people, or rather I find young people having multiple vehicles. One would be a recreational vehicle. It could be a Harley Davidson or a Bajaj, 2 lakh, 3 lakh rupee Bajaj, or a 10 lakh, 15 lakh rupee Harley Davidson. And one of the persons I know who is in that, who's got a Harley Davidson, earns about 20 lakhs, and he's not very sure about his job either. His wife works in a good company. She earns about 15-16 lakhs. Of course, like typical people of that generation, they have not bought a house, and I don't know whether they're planning to have a kid. Then things change. However, if you are going to be making a down payment for a house, following the 3, 20, 30, 40 rule, you're going to support parents in their old age. You're going to provide for your own retirement. You're going to provide for your children's education, children's education, whatever. Have money for entertainment, which is travel, etc. Don't buy a more expensive car. And I see it happening quite regularly, that people have a car because they need a car to get around, and they also have a bike because a bike is a fun vehicle. The fun vehicle, there's no place for the wife. The boys go out and they do 1,000 kilometer rides and 500 kilometer rides, right? So of course this happens over 3 days or 4 days, so long rides happen, and for that you need an entertainment vehicle or a fun vehicle. And the car is something which you need because to go out in Bombay you need a car. So Ola, Uber doesn't work, trains don't work, bus doesn't work, so there is a car, and the car is always a overcommitment. Most people, and you will find this shocking, do not even realize that the car EMI would be exactly half, or perhaps even less than half, depending on your usage, on the other expenses of a car. Car immediately means insurance, car means petrol, car means maintenance. When I say petrol, diesel, gas, whatever, all those expenses, people just ignore all that. It is not factored in. And I don't see too many people using a car beyond 5 years or 6 years. That's the maximum. The richer people use it for 10-11 years, but the people who are earning less do not use it even for that long. So I know a person who would be in the annual income range of about 2.5-3 crores. No, he does not drive a Mercedes. He drives a nice Toyota, right? So can he afford a Mercedes? Of course he can afford a Mercedes. It is his 3-month CTC that he can buy a Mercedes. But he doesn't buy it because a guy has that kind of responsibility towards his money. You could call him a miser, but it is also possible that he says, okay, I'm financially free, I can walk out of my job anytime I want, even though I'm highly paid, it's highly stressed. So, right, all those choices of retiring early, paying for your children's education, or you have to tell your child, sorry, I can't afford your education, this is what I can, and the balance you will borrow. Nothing wrong with that either. But in case you have to support your parents, there's very little choice there. In case you have to pay for your own old age, in case you lose your job at the age of 48 and then you're wondering what to do, all your bad purchases will come to haunt you. In fact, when I keep saying, when I look at a portfolio which is very well built, I can see all the big vehicles and the big vacations not taken, the big vehicles not bought. Because you gave all that up, could you create this portfolio? I'm not saying this is right and this is wrong, but make your choice. Don't think you can earn 15-20 lakhs, buy a 25 lakh rupee car, go on vacations and retire early. This combination will not happen. This jugglery will not happen. If you're paying for 2 children's education, it's not going to be small, whatever courses they do. And if they go, heaven forbid, God forbid, if they were to do something like medicine seat today will cost you medical education today will cost you upwards of 1.5 crores. That's not something small. If your company is not subsidizing it, if your daughter has not got a good score and you have to pay for the seat, then it's even worse, right? So 25 to 30 lakhs per year for a 5-year course is not something small. And if she or he wants to do a post-graduation, then factor in more money. Think of all these things, write down your goals, and then suddenly you will realize what I'm saying is right. You cannot afford a car which is more than 10% of your gross total income. Husband and wife both are earning very good. Between them, one car, 10%. 2 cars together, only 10%. You can't say one car is 10%, the other car is only 5%. No, it doesn't make sense. If you want an entertainment vehicle, factor all this while you're creating a corpus for your other goals, which includes an early retirement. You cannot have all of this happening, either this or that, right? And please try to use your car for 8-9 years, 10 years maybe. 2-3 years is too low, but that is the average for which the upper middle class is using the cars, right? So be careful. Again, you don't need a big car on a daily basis. Don't fool yourself into saying, oh, when my parents come, I need a big car. You can always hire a big car. If there are just 2 of you, a small hatchback is good enough. On the day your parents come, go to the airport, take an Ola or a Uber. That's good enough, because you're going to need it 5 days in a year or 6 days in a year, right? Thank you.